Ah, what a great day at school. I can't wait to go home and relax. Hey man, how's it going? Oh, hello, Greg Heffley. Oh, hello, Mr. Bone. And a good day to you too. Oh, hello, Mrs. Chippendale and Blubs.
Hello, sweetheart.
Man, I sure love my community. I hope it never goes away. Well, time to sleep. I need my beauty rest. Good night, Ryan Gosling. But what's all that racket? What happened to my community? Hey man, we're building Interstate here. Could you move your house? How dare you! Hey man, chill out!
Roads. Us as a species, we love roads and we use it every day to help us get it from here to there. It's helped grow cities and create cross-country transportation. What if I told you there was a road that was destroying communities of people and completely decimating smaller towns? This road goes by the name of the Interstate Highway System. If you don't know what the Interstate Highway System is, I'll give you a quick rundown. The Interstate Highway System is a collection of roads across the country that are long and large roads that go from city to city. Roads like I-95 and I-10 are examples of these types of roads that you may have driven across on your way to an awesome vacation, I bet, because I know I have. So how are these roads destroying communities? Because from what it seems like, they have a big impact on the transportation of objects and people across towns. Well, there's still more to unpack with interstates, so let's go right into it. Small communities are spread throughout the US and plenty exist in the Tampa Bay area. These communities are usually small and in areas that are not heavily populated, but close enough to cities that they can still profit from them. All things will go well until big construction sites are outside the community's windows, destroying their churches, farmlands, and other houses. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, over 1 million people were displaced because of federal roadway construction, and even if you weren't displaced, the construction of these roads would reduce the nearby air quality, destroy your land, and plummet your property values to where your house could sell for like $4. If you thought this wasn't bad enough, it gets worse. A lot of these neighborhoods are home to many minorities, and these minority communities are usually very poverty-stricken. According to Deborah N. Archer, she noted that policymakers were using highway construction to create buffer zones and isolate communities of color. There are countless examples of neighborhoods of minorities being cut down because of the construction of interstate highways. For example, Rondo in St. Paul, Minnesota had a thriving cultural life and great schools until the construction of I-94 destroyed 600 family homes and 300 businesses. Now you may be wondering, what happens to the people whose houses are destroyed and are forced to relocate? Well, you'd think they'd put them in the nice suburban neighborhoods where all the white people live. Nope. So instead, they put them into the smaller sectors of cities that are usually struggling with poverty and urbanization. Here's a quick clip from a Vox video on what it looks like when interstates are built through small communities.
During that era, federal policies and implicit priorities of planners dictated that you had, vibrant, dense downtown neighborhoods filled mostly with African American residents. Instead of being preserved under the plan, they were slated as targets for removal. They were considered blight, and an easy way of getting rid of that blight was by demolishing them and paving a highway through it.
Neighborhoods and streetcars were pushed aside to make way for the automobile.
Look at the neighborhoods of Black Bottom and Paradise Valley in Detroit.
When you go back to the 30s and 40s, these are thriving, dense neighborhoods filled with hundreds of thousands of residents, of businesses, and if you go back today, they're mostly just empty grass plots.
This wasn't just a historical accident, it became a pattern in cities across the country. Poor and minority residents were displaced to make way for highways, and white residents used those highways to commute into the city for jobs and commute back home at night.
So how does this affect us? Well, in St. Petersburg, there was a similar situation going on that was caused by the construction of the Interstate Highway. The gas plant district was a low-income, majority-black neighborhood that was located at the heart of St. Petersburg in the Tampa Bay area, but it would not stay for long. In 1978, the City Council of St. Pete was planning to build more affordable housing and recreational parks, but by 1982, there was a race between Tampa and St. Pete on who could build a baseball stadium first, and sadly, the gas plant district was in the prime location of where a baseball stadium could fit. Although many people saw this as discrimination and unjust, it would not stop the city council of voting in the now famous Tropicana Field in a 6-9 vote in July of 1986, which was 8 years before we even had a baseball team. The field and the interstate's roads around it that were built to attract more people towards the field is what caused the gas plant community to fall apart. Shirley Jennings was a resident of the old gas plant district when she was 19, and she loved the local ice cream shops where her friends would hang out and her father's fish shop, but that was sadly all removed with the construction of the Tropicana. Many others felt the same effect and were forced to relocate to local neighborhoods around the area and suffered through a terrible transition period of poverty. St. Pete is trying to fix this problem by trying to gentrify the old gas plant district and Campbell Park, which is another local black neighborhood, and create a wealthier neighborhood with more affordable housing, a lot of job opportunities, and an entertainment district with an African American history museum. But is this really the only solution? Or is there new opportunities that could help reduce the effects or rebuild what was lost from the construction of interstates?
In the 65 years since the creation of the interstate highway system in the United States, the growth of the economy, the quality of life, and the mobility of Americans has substantially increased. The source, When Interstates Paved the Way, states that interstate highways increase mobility in urban areas by reducing travel times for cars, buses, and trucks while lessening traffic congestions on non-interstate roads. The addition of the interstate also allowed cities to expand their physical size. While it is true that these are positives of the interstate highway system, the effect that it has on communities should not be ignored. Other options, such as the development of hypertrains, which are essentially really fast trains that get you from point A to point B, can replace the need for interstates. Hypertrains are intended to create mass transportation for people in urban areas and revive lost cities that were left behind because of interstates. One way that hypertrains benefit the community is that they create smart and sustainable growth. Federal policies prioritize road building, which encourages more driving, resulting in more money being spent on road construction and repairs. Trains break this cycle and create healthy, walkable, and thriving city centers. Another way that they benefit the community is because they reduce carbon emissions. According to High Speed Rail Alliance, transportation in the United States currently generates 29% of carbon emissions, a driving force for climate change. Fast, frequent, and affordable trains are the best way to slash carbon emissions. Finally, hypertrains improve local transit options. For starters, travelers use local transit to reach high-speed trains, and when they are well coordinated and easily accessible, ridership increases on both high-speed rail and local transit systems. That builds political will and funding for the entire transportation network. Hypertrains are bound to work in the US, as they are used in many other nations such as Japan, and have found great success. The main takeaway is that interstate roads are ruining communities. The social division that interstates cause is hurtful to those being divided. It's even worse when considering that some interstate highways actively go out of their way to contain a certain minority of residents. People are losing touch with their friends and family, all because of this system, which is downright cruel for a public project to do. Interstates increasing mobility by reducing travel time for automobiles is beneficial, but why should it come at the cost of certain communities being separated?